sunny Norfolk, Massachusetts. Welcome to Keeping It Positive. I'm Bill Menevie.
And I'm Patrick Quinn, and we are the
The
Big
Big
Bossmen.
Bossmen. Hey, Patrick, we haven't done a little episode in a little while. I'm kind of excited today to maybe why don't we put ourselves in the hot seat this time? What do you think?
Yeah, we can. We've talked about interviewing each other, and kind of our origin stories and all that. So yeah, why not? Let's go. Let's go with
Yeah.
that one.
Why don't we just
You
share a
can
little?
leave that in there. Let's go with
Absolutely.
that one.
We'll share a little bit about how about this episode? Why don't we put you in the hot seat?
Okay.
Um, maybe next month you can put me in the hot seat, and then
If I'm going in the hot seat this time,
oh,
you're going in next month. All right.
okay. Well, we'll definitely do that. Let everybody know a little bit about us, and then we'll get back to continuing to introduce everybody to some other employees. It'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where are we going to start with you, Patrick?
I guess you just start at the beginning, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So I was at South Shore Votech High School. I was in metal fab welding, and
I remember you back in high school.
yeah. And while I was in high school, I was and I continued after I graduated, but I was working in a couple different factories. I was building those stabilizer arms for like backhoes, like the foot pads
Oh
that
yeah,
like touch the ground with all the rubber in them and everything.
yeah.
I used to build those on an assembly line on the night
Okay.
shift at Stoughton Steel. And then I was working at another factory doing custom carbon fiber for racing sailboats. So
Oh
somebody would need a certain part for their racing ship, and they would give us the schematics, and I would take that and I would build it.
wow.
And that was weird. A lot of epoxy work, and I wasn't that great, but those were my jobs. And my father, he called me up one day and was like, "Hey, would you want to come work for me for $14 an hour as a laborer?" And I was like, "Yeah, because that was a big raise. I was making
That
$10 an hour at both
wow.
jobs.
That sound pretty good then.
Yeah, it was great, right?
And specifically, I think when you were in high school, right? You
Yeah.
you we actually needed help on a project, didn't we? And didn't
Yes.
you actually came and helped us? I
See, these are the embarrassing stories we weren't supposed to bring up.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
But I remember. I don't. You had your driver's license, obviously, because
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
over
yeah.
18. You were 18, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
but I remember your mom dropping you off at a project.
Oh, so my in the minivan too. Yeah, when I was a
Yeah,
little kid. That was a flood restoration. It
yeah.
was literally in the middle of the flood, middle of the night, and you guys just needed help. And so I went and this is like the part time that I dabbled with before I switched over to full time from the factory jobs I had. And
There was an oil spill with the flood, and there was
yeah,
oil throughout the plant, and
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
we needed bodies, and I do remember you coming.
Yeah,
So
and then I actually did. So I did a couple projects before I graduated because my father had gotten me and my brother our OSHA 40s.
yeah.
Well, we went through a class and everything, but yeah. So I did a confined space job. I remember the infamous confined space
Oh,
project that Patrick did when I was
that was a big tank, right?
when I was a rookie. It was a 10,000-gallon six oil tank, and
Oh, I
you
remember
guys
that.
threw me into the tank, and I think it was like 5-10 minutes into it. This is my first time fully in a Tyvek, my first time in a tank, full face respirator, harness, tripod, the whole 9 yards.
And
So
let's add that you were an athlete too,
I
an
was
elite athlete.
I was a respectable athlete.
Yes.
And after 5-10 minutes, I was just soaked in sweat, head to toe, getting crushed. And I asked for a Gatorade. I
Oh, and I
looked up and you guys were like, "What?" And I was like, "Can I get a Gatorade?" I wanted a drink because I was like so hot. And you just got in there.
yeah, I was one of the attendants, and I remember looking down, saying,
Yeah, and
what do you mean Gatorade break? What do you think this is?"
long story short, you guys made fun of me a lot. You pulled me out. A different guy went in and finished the tank in like 45 minutes, and I have never escaped the infamous Gatorade incident. There was
Wow.
also, if we're going to embarrass myself, I might as well go the whole way. There was another incident. I was with Miguel, and we were working on a beach somewhere, putting in like it was some type of fence post thing,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and I didn't really know how to pace myself very well, and I worked really, really hard, but I couldn't pace myself. I didn't know how to work a 12-hour day, and so I was pounding in fence posts, and I remember Miguel telling me you should slow down and like let some of the other guys, you should rotate like what you're doing. You shouldn't just be doing the heaviest, hardest part of the job the whole time. And I'm like, oh no, I got this. Like I lift weights, I can do this, no problem. Like,
We
and
probably
I
had
remember him,
we
yeah,
had
he was laughing.
a lot of fence posts to put in for that job, right? It wasn't just like
Yeah, it
two.
was no, it was a lot. It was maybe 100 of them. I don't remember the number, but in any case, I was gassed after I don't know a couple hours. I was just smoked, couldn't do anything, and just again the Gatorade comments. So anyway, so I finished all of that. I finished all that. I finished high school. I was working in the factories. My father called me, offered me that job with a $4 raise for 14 an hour, and so I took that. You guys sent me out to New York, and I was working on trenching and putting in. It was a huge project that I don't know if you remember. It was like a power plant and tons of piping, and I think it was an
Yeah.
air sparge system, if I remember correctly.
But
But
I remember you got your hoisting license, and you kind of had
yeah,
a knack at a young age for
yeah,
running heavy equipment.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you actually got to do that.
yeah. I got a lot
But
of hands-on time, and then while that was happening, Hurricane Katrina happened, and I remember you guys dropped in from in a convoy that was like I don't even know, like 20 plus vehicles just come
we
rolling. It just tried it, just comes rolling into
I
this
remember
power
that.
plant, and
I
you guys
remember
were
that
just
like
because
it
you guys
was
were
yesterday.
passing right past where we were. We were right near the highway.
It was I remember that like it was yesterday. We pulled in there just to stretch our legs and kind of show off
Yeah,
and just check in with you really and just let
yeah,
you know what we were up to. And
yeah,
but it
and
was a
not
nice place to take a break.
yeah, not too long after I joined you guys down there, and 9 months later, I was still in still in New Orleans. But yeah, that and then I just kind of took off from there, and I volunteered a lot for traveling, and I spent a lot of time on the road. Missed a lot of holidays, but I got a ton of experience just by going out on these projects all over the country, and I don't even know how many massive oil spills I worked on, but
Well, you got to see a lot of interesting places in the country too.
yeah, I also got to meet a lot of fabulous people that I was very fortunate because a lot of the people I ended up working with, whether it was like Kiwi or T Rod or any of those guys that I spent a lot of time with, they mentored me in different aspects of leadership and gave me opportunities as like a low level foreman as a young guy and coaching me through those, especially down in Katrina, guys like Gary Babb, Wes Glaze, and that whole crowd. They really helped me grow and kind of helped shape who I was going to become. And
Yeah. And
but it was good.
our friend Scotty,
Yeah, Scotty Metzger. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Jack
all the
Valley. Yeah,
oh
Jack
my,
Valley. I used to spend so much time with Jack Valley, and wow, I mean, it's just that's just going so far back. But yeah, that I traveled all over. There were time I think the longest I spent on the road was like 2 years, and you guys had me bouncing. Like I went to like an oil spill for like 3 months, and then I was up in like Minnesota, like cleaning up a mercury spill, and then like I'd go to an asphalt plant explosion in like another state, and I just literally was bouncing all over the country. At one point, I was towing a skid steer. I don't know if you remember that. I was just bouncing all over the country with a skid steer and a trailer.
just skid steer and tow. Just
Just
come
going
on.
from like emergency to emergency, just literally all over the country. I was just getting bounced, and so it was cool. I got to see the country, and again, get to meet a ton of people and get contacts. And a lot of those guys that I met are still in the business, and
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. We're still probably working with a lot of them.
a lot of them, yeah. But yeah, I went coast to coast, and it was a lot of fun and challenging, obviously. But it's I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah, that's great. You got a lot of experience, real quick at a young age. That
Yeah.
was awesome, awesome for your career.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it ended up pretty well.
Yeah.
Did all right.
So that was pretty good intro to the business, Patrick. So
Yeah, that's my origin story. There we go.
that's
And
good.
now I'm gonna get Gatorade comments again.
Yeah. So anybody that wants to put a Gatorade comment down below here in the comment box, go ahead. Put it in there if you have something funny to share with us. Otherwise, let's keep that episode pretty short like that. Next month, you can pick on me and see where I came from and see where it goes from here.
Yep. Yeah. The only thing I would add that to that would be all those while they are mistakes that are fun to joke about with me, they presented opportunities where I learned to fail, right? And to get back on my feet and keep going. And that's one of the things we talk about positivity. And when you make a mistake, it's okay. Just get back on your feet and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. That's why pencils have erasers.
Amen to that. Right
there you
there.
Go. So let's keep this episode short with that. And how about until next time?
Until next time, guys.
We'll see you then.